train stop by
It
there.
needs to be becoming Neil, there's nothing,
Yeah.
just direct road.
Okay, well, let's call our meeting to order at 7 p.m. And a motion moved by Councillor Browning, seconded by Deputy Mayor Tetzel. The council adopt the agenda of special meeting SMO 3-2024 as presented. All those in favor? 4, 5, 6 in favor, none opposed. Motion's carried. Any declarations of interest by any councillors this evening? All right. We have councillor absences and a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Tetzel, seconded by Councillor Brown, that council excuse, and now I just have to know, Councillor Tetzel is out of town?
She's away.
Okay.
She's gonna be away for meetings.
Okay. And did anybody hear about anything to do with Councillor Bellefontaine? Okay, so we can't include them on this list. So that would be the council excuse Councillor Tetzel from special meeting SRM, like I said, it should be SM, 03-2024. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Councillor is excused. And we have a couple items under number 5. I've got to bring the item forward. I've got a motion moved by Councillor Browning, seconded by Deputy Mayor Tetzel, that council approve the 2024 Community Public Infrastructure Contribution Agreement in the amount of $296,750 for the 3-month period, April, May, and June 2024. And maybe just before we discuss that, would ask they will to,
Could you note that Troy showed up?
yeah.
Yeah, again, consistent with the O&M and water, wastewater contribution agreements. They're doing the same thing with CPI. 4 of those amounts will equal $1,187,000, which is what we received last year. So the money will be coming, it's just how they're dispersing.
Any discussion? All right, then I'll get a show of hands. All those in favor? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 now. Votes against? None. Motion carried. Second item under 5, a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Tetzel, seconded by Councillor Wright, that council enter into the ultimate recipient agreement with the Northwest Territories Association of Communities with respect to the Northwest Territories Wildfire Resilience Project. And I'll invite Mr. Yass to kind of give us an overview of what's happening in that.
Okay, pretty straightforward today. What we're looking for is a resolution by council to enter into this contribution agreement with the NWTAC. Again, we're all aware of the funds, the $1,085,000 basically for fuel mitigation in the community. They have forwarded a draft agreement at this time. I'm hoping to have it in non-draft format by tomorrow, but I'm going to need a resolution before administration can enter into the agreement. Again, this is all money from DMAF, administered by NWTAC, no percentage on our part. It just seems the more and more we're getting into this, that NWTAC was a little behind the gun in preparing things. When we're getting a draft agreement, 9 months after the announcement, it kind of a little behind the gun. One thing they actually did include, which I was really surprised, is a cash flow statement from DMAF to NWTAC, stipulating how much cash NWTAC would have expected to receive on a yearly basis over this DMAF 10-year project, right? So the numbers were kind of surprising. If all the communities are yelling and screaming, we want our money this year, that wasn't represented in the cash flow documents from NWTAC between their agreement with DMAF. Their cash flow looks at $4 million going into their hands this year. Now, I'm sure they're gonna try to renegotiate that with the feds as well and try to free up some more money. But I kind of admittedly lost my temper last week with them and started making some calls. They were made many times, many emails, but I kind of pushed with the wording and so forth. We got action, unfortunately. We did receive notification late last week that their contract forester would be taking over authorization of any of the ultimate recipients receiving money this year, rather than DMAP doing it themselves. They're basically farming that out to the consultant. I had a long talk with the consultant, had all our information to them. That goes for all the comments made by community members, all the stakeholders, all the consultants we've dealt with. I fed everything to them with our plan of what areas we want to clear this year, not next year, this year. And it took her 24 hours and she said tentatively she agreed with it. And we got the draft memorandum of agreement this morning, went over it. Basically, we got everything we asked for, went back to them. So now we're looking for a resolution to actually enter into the agreement for the DMAF money. So progress, amazing in a week, absolutely amazing. I have to thank Councilor Tetzel for writing that letter to the minister. I did ask him to hold off on sending it because things worked out in the end. I don't know what changed. I think it was the right words, the right time, the stress, whatever. Point being is we're ready to go with a resolution from council. And that's as far as the DMAP money is concerned, okay? I think you're all aware we put that in for an RFP. On the first closing date for the RFP, there were no respondents. I extended a week and we did get 2 respondents, so we have 2 that we're gonna have to look at and work with. We may award to one, the other, or a combination of both, you know what I mean? But we're still working on that right now. I just need to get actually confirmed that we've got money from NWTC, Ergo DMAP. Without that, we're kind of standing still, but we're basically ready to go right now. So, I guess speaking further on that, the main thing, they allowed us to do 2 main items. One was using mechanical clearing instead of primarily hand clearing. That was huge. Another one was the areas. Remember that the initial agreement they put out was based on working towards exactly what was in your community wildlife protection plan. And we added many, many more hectares to that, a lot more, okay, substantial amount. And they said, yes, they agreed. So we're looking really, really good. We may expand that more. If we don't use all our allotted money this year, there's next year, depending on weather, contractors, will it all get done? Will the money all get used? Will all the areas get cleared? That's to be seen yet, obviously. But we'll do as much as we can this year with the money available. And technically, all our money is available this year. I can't speak for any other communities. Maybe NWTAC is going to renegotiate with the feds and losing some more money for the other communities, hopefully so. But in their cash flow projections, we would have eaten up 25% of their yearly cash flow. So that looks pretty good for us anyway. And I do appreciate the effort everybody in NWTAC side put in the end. Okay, I just wish we had answers months ago. Okay, any questions with that?
Thanks, Mitch. Councilor Wright?
So they're coming through with a non-draft tomorrow?
This is what we're hoping for. I get a resolution tonight. They should be able to just take the draft off this one. Tomorrow we sign it, submit it to them, and it's a done deal.
And you sent us that, right?
You don't have that?
No.
I don't send you this one.
Standard, can you send me that and then
Absolutely.
send me the
Just
one?
remember
the
it's
non-draft?
draft one, yeah. Remember, standard contribution agreement, so.
Yeah, well, I just want to make sure
You
that
betcha.
you're both sort of the same.
All we're looking for tonight is a resolution for administration to sign this. A matter of fact, administration will probably notify everybody before the signing, if that makes everybody feel more comfortable.
Personally, I don't really feel really comfortable putting approving a resolution for something we haven't even seen.
Haven't seen, right?
How can they need
Why
a
would-
resolution before they can provide us with the document?
The way
We've
they
got
are.
that draft right there, why can't we look at that one?
Well, why didn't they send us that? When did you get that?
Like yesterday.
Yesterday?
Days ago, yeah.
I could have read that in 2 days.
Well, as he stated that.
It is just-
NPCAC was behind
Yeah.
it all, like they can do their job.
And it is just a draft too,
Yeah.
so until we have the
So-
real one.
You know what, though, at the same time, AC was behind the ball, but let me remind you that we didn't even go to their AGM to inquire about any of these things, so I don't really think we have very much of a voice in terms of that. Behind the ball or not, we still knew about this funding in October.
But we need to sign this so we can move forward on our fire smarting and.
But can we see it first?
Yeah, it looks like,
I wanna, I really.
okay, it's Thursday today, we've got a meeting Monday. Why don't you send it to us so we can read it and then we'll,
Yeah, I'll probably have a non-draft by then. You're good with waiting on?
Just give us 10 minutes or 5 minutes to look at it.
That's it,
Okay.
just like a
that's
quick,
fine too.
yeah.
Do you want
You
to
have
put it
it
up
on
on the screen?
And I need it in hard copy,
Hard
because
copy, yeah.
I can't see from here.
Do you have a number of other things
Or
to deal
could
with?
we take a look at it and give you an email approval tomorrow? Like,
Does that work?
I don't care.
I'm good.
I've been working with these guys on this stuff, so.
I just wanna see it, I really.
Sure, absolutely. Good.
I wanna see it.
Well, let's give the
Something
councilors
just-
5 or 10 minutes to
yeah.
just look at it.
Okay,
And
I'll,
then we'll continue.
print a number of copies.
just go to copy.
Need more copies?
Hey,
I need 3 copies. Okay, tell you what, I'll,
Let's go on to the next item.
Okay, so we'll wait on the copies to come back, and we'll move on to the short-term borrowing bylaw, first and second reading. So I have a motion moved by Deputy Mayor Tenzo, seconded by Councillor Wright, that council adopt first and second reading with respect to bylaw 2024-004, short-term borrowing. And I'll invite SAO White to describe what exactly we're doing with that.
Okay. This is a different type of borrowing than the long-term debt that we brought forward earlier. This is a very, very different year operation for the village, and I expect it is the same in many of the other communities in the Northwest Territories. I think the events of last year have possibly put the territory in a cash crunch, and following along, we are now in a cash crunch. We are presently extended in our line of credit about $340,000 at this point. We have significant invoices that have to be paid still, that we're holding on because we are we're getting close to being over our existing board. So what this borrowing resolution will allow us is to give a council endorsed document to the Bank of Commerce that will allow the comfort level to exist at both ends, so that we're not pinched. We do not want items returned because we've gone over our authority, our borrowing. And again, I would like to reiterate that this is only utilized as it's needed. So we're not going tomorrow to borrow $2 million. We're just having the buffer in place as we move through. Now, we will be getting funding from the territorial government for the different programs that you passed contribution agreements on. But this just gives us, we're not worrying and trying to juggle this and that every month, wondering if we're gonna meet payroll, things like that. It's just, it's what businesses in the normal course of business do. They have this in place. So that's the ABCs of this, and certainly if you have any questions, we'll answer to my best.
So why can't we just, as a council, approve it, like we have 3 meetings a month, right? So why can't we just go like that?
Well, I'm asking today to do the 2 first and second, and do third reading on Monday night, so we have it. And then it'll be passed, it'll go to the bank, everything, there'll be that comfort level. And
What I'm saying is, as a council, we agree on when we're gonna borrow 200,000 or 300,000, not you and the mayor.
well, we're not the ones, we're doing it as the signatories on behalf of the village.
Totally understand. Like, we're gonna agree to 2 million, but you guys get to decide when to borrow it or,
Well,
right? So it takes the council right out of any decision
The
making.
position of the bank account will determine, all that will effectively happen is our line of credit overdraft will increase if we pay bills. And it gives us the comfort. Nobody will be executing, we need to borrow $300,000 tomorrow. It's as we need it.
And everything has to be in the budget. It's still in the budget. That's our guiding document, right? That and any
Yeah,
limits on authorizations.
how about along with this, or is we, on a monthly, actually, go right back to 2021 when we signed up. Tell us where all our money went so far, right? So like, we got the budget and stuff, but that doesn't tell us where the money was spent. Who got the money, right? So,
Your audited statements would have in each year a statement of cash flow. And that basically is a snapshot of.
I totally understand that, but it doesn't say that company X got, this much, company B got this much, employee X got this much, right? That's what I'm looking for.
That's more like a forensic audit.
Yeah,
We
well,
don't need that.
No, I don't want a forensic audit. I want to know where our money's going every month.
The audit tells you.
Very.
No,
The
the
variance
audit, the variance report doesn't tell us where the money's going. It's telling us that money was spent, right? Because if you look at the budget, let's take the dog pound for instance. Every year, up until last year, it was 32,000, right? Every year. But the mayor went on the news there a couple of months ago and said, in 2021, you haven't been paid for some money we put out. We paid for the dog contractor to build some new dog pounds or something like that. We paid for parking during the flood. And there was one more. Parking, water tanks or water delivery. So,
If I could, those things were the spending that the village had to do in advance of an actual state of emergency, but we knew that we had to prepare, so that does fall on the municipality.
yeah, but it didn't show up in our budget. Or not in our budget,
Well, they have
in our audit, right?
Yes, it did.
It would be there,
It didn't,
not as a special item, but it'll have to have been money that got taken from somewhere else. Sometimes there's a little slack or something, but they can't overspend,
so what I'm saying is, you said we gave money to the dog pound,
we're ready to give it.
but it did, or whatever, we money went from here to there.
Yeah.
Right? But it didn't show up in our audit.
Well, I think.
Right?
It had to. It had to.
Well, if the dog contract was 32,000, do you think it would be more than 32,000 if we gave them extra money?
Yeah, but that money was for preparations for an emergency, so it was money outside of the contract. It wouldn't show up in the contract.
So you see, that's what I want to find out, where the money went, right? Like,
Okay, can I?
how many,
Point of order here, because right now we're dealing with this loan.
Yeah.
You know, like, and we should, you know, because right now the audit has happened.
Yeah, they're right in the room there.
Yeah, and.
If there's anything untoward, I'm sure they'll let us know.
The auditors are here, I saw them in today. But, you know, like, if we're gonna do this loan, my understanding is, it's our ability to pay our bills. So we don't start getting, our own services get cut off, like power, and well, you can't, because we pay. But, you know, that's all it is, line of credit to cover current expenses.
That's all. As long as they
And,
just want
and we're
wages.
following the budget as the budget is laid out. We're not spending anything more or less.
And as
You know,
those,
and this
as
is
those
just to
funds come
cover us,
in,
yeah, just to cover us until the funds get caught up.
the bank account gets back in good stead.
That's the way I look at it. There's nothing,
That's true.
you know, fishy or underhanded about it, just good and cash accounting.
I just have a quick question. We talked about the borrowing bylaw to purchase that structure protection unit. Is that gonna be in addition to this because that's different expense? It's not included in this 2 million,
Yeah,
right?
there's two borrowings, talked about in the CDD Act.
Okay.
There's the long-term debt.
Yeah.
And short-term borrowing.
Gotcha. I
This
just
is
wanted
the-
to make sure that they
This
were.
is the long-term
Yeah.
debt.
Thank you.
This is the long-term debt.
It's short-term borrowing, and the long-term debt is
Perfect.
Yeah.
still in the
Yeah.
pipe.
I just needed that clarification because I know that we had talked about it, but we haven't done it. Right? We haven't done that yet. Just a minute.
So, shall we get to the voting on this then? All those in favor of adopting first and second reading on the borrowing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Against? Abstaining?
I'll just abstain.
Okay, 1 abstention. 6 in favor. So that motion carries. And we're still waiting for that information regarding the ultimate recipients.
Oh, we've got it.
Oh, you do have it? Okay. Does anybody need more time? A few more minutes? Okay,
It's got it.
sure.
So Mitch said that they only have, and I'm sorry if I'm asking the question that Mitch should be getting. Mitch said that they only have the $4 million in the cash flow, or that NVT, something about DMAP to NVTAC this year was only 4 million, and that we're gonna get $1,085,000
We
of
might
that.
be the only one shovel ready.
Okay, see, this clears things up, okay,
We don't know that, but
okay. And is this runs on like till March 31st?
like, those cash flows are ongoing, so however that's structured in the cash flow analysis, we're gonna hit 1 year together, but
Okay,
This is more like a,
mhm.
With 10 pages of standard.
It's just the back, it's just the appendix.
Yeah,
That's detailed for us.
Yeah, that's what you're looking at.
It's actually got some pretty interesting information in it, so just saying.
I just think.
Well, I'm glad they opened the doors, well, but.
Yeah, we owe Mitch and really James for getting going on that.
Waking them up.
Yep.
And are we gonna talk in camera after this about those two bids, or that's for another meeting?
Well, we have to do it at another meeting, right? Because-
Yeah, we would,
Yeah,
On
we've
Monday?
got one here.
We've got 500,000 left from the 750. That's why we borrowed, right?
Say that again?
Didn't we borrow the 750 to sort of front the money for this?
Some, yeah,
okay, so the 750 is ultimately, we're gonna bring to you a bunch of other purchasing proposals beyond the structure protection unit. Has nothing to do with this project here.
Oh.
So, but this is another one where it is, if we had the borrowing resolution in place that we're considering, or we adopted tonight versus Saturday, we don't have to worry about if we're overdrawn and this comes up to be paid, that we're in a crunch. So we can do those things as they come forward. We got a lot of capital that's ready to roll, and we don't have the cash. So we need,
So this 750, we're not getting refunded anything.
the 750 is our assets that we're potentially buying that will be property of the village without any recovery funding, yes.
Okay, that was totally not what I was thinking. I was thinking that 500,000, like that, I knew the 250 was for the trailer and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought the 500,000 was for this RFP. So that we were getting the 500,000 refunded. So we borrowed 750,000 that we're gonna spend on what?
We're working up costs for a scenario, I guess, a way of mitigating. We don't have all of the details yet, but again, our staff are working towards what we want to propose to council with a cost estimate, and that will be incorporated in the 750 long-term debt. But at the time we did the long-term debt, those types of expenditures were definitely not eligible under the DMAP program. Now, that's not to say if down the road, those types of expenditures that we're working up are eligible, that we might want to pursue that. But we may want to spend that money on other mitigation or fire treatments. But we don't know that yet, so we're really into it.
Now that fire protection unit, what's the price on that?
Wasn't it 250?
230, I believe. before
Okay,
tax.
230. So what did it start out at?
What was started?
Because last time you gave me some paperwork there, it said we were looking at a fire protection unit that was worth 160 or something on there, or 170.
Unfortunately, yeah, that was the first price we got, was the 230.
And that was a rental.
No,
Oh.
Yeah.
no, that was the 10,000 a month or whatever,
Yeah.
but I'm pretty sure, like,
No, the trailer's always gonna have prices, that's never changed. I'm just wondering where the confusions come from.
well, it was written by either, by one of the, might have been the other one that you gave me from Enbridge or.
Okay, so that is a consultant's suggestion. He's just pulling numbers out of his head, right?
Well, I'm pretty sure what it said was, the village is looking at buying a fire suppression or whatever it's called for 160 or 170.
And again, that's the number a consultant may have put in, you know what I mean? That's not what our quote was.
So,
We were told $10,000 a month,
yeah, 10,000 a month.
3,500
Yeah.
a day once we've actually got it. So maybe that's
Yep.
what you were thinking.
Well,
Or 250 to purchase it outright.
I can see where the confusion came
Well, yeah, because the paper he gave me said 170, and the price increased by $50,000 over. Right?
Price never increased, the consultant just came with the random.
Just say a number?
Mitch, do you know if that DMAC funding is gonna be available for year after year, or it's like a one and done?
Theoretically, that is a 10-year program.
Okay. Different amounts every year?
NWC, TAC figured they'd have the first year or two to
Yeah.
organize how they'd administer that money.
Yeah.
And it would be disseminated over the next 9 to 10 years type of thing. That was the plan. Our allotment of those funds is in the neighborhood of $1,085,000.
Yeah,
let's say.
that's exactly what it is.
That's all we're getting from that specific program at this time, and that's a 10-year term on that program. If we use it all this year, that's it for us on that program. Now, who's to say next year, a number of communities didn't apply for it, or, they got burned out,
Yeah.
their fuels are already pre-burned, they're not gonna apply for it. Could they reassess who gets more money to use up the pot? Yes, of course, the pot's gonna get used.
Mhm.
But as of right now, that's it, that's in the program for the village of Fort Simpson.
Well, based on the cash flow, it looks like they're pretty front-end loaded, right? Giving it like closer to like 2028, 2029, they only have $180,000.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised those.
The $4 million that they have for the first couple of years.
Mhm.
Okay.
And kudos on getting it was an extra 27 hectares worth of land to be.
I think
so,
we did better than I thought we would.
yeah, I think that's great. Good work on that.
All right, then let's call for a vote here on a resolution to sign this ultimate recipient agreement with the NWT Association of Communities for a wildfire resilience project. Show of hands, all those in favor. Okay, 7 in favor, none against. Motion's carried. And because we can't really add anything to our agenda, we've got a final motion moved by Councilor Wright, seconded by Deputy Mayor Tetzel. The council adjourned special meeting SM03-2024 at 7:33 PM. All those in favor? 7 in favor, none against. Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
You said you put a one.
Sure.